What is up guys, Karotaki here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be doing a deck profile on the EX-15 Garurumon deck. So this is the poster board of the deck, and I am building this differently from the purple build that I've been doing in EX5, just because like EX5 onwards, there's going to be a lot of decks that are going to be using the purple Gabumon base to speed up the trash, and so I want to stay away from that and just use more of the new cards, although this card will be using the X antibody cards because those are just too good. But yeah, let's just get right into their profile. So for the Digitamas, we're running 4 of the Pokemon from BT-15. So this is good because it has jamming. And it pretty much gives your Digimon jamming if your opponent doesn't have anything with the same or more amount of sources in their Digimon. So pretty easy to fulfill since we are running antibody cards. Building up your source is going to be pretty easy. So for the level 3s, we're going to be going bottom up first, just because it's easier to explain the level 3s first, since this deck kind of relies on the lower levels to build up your hand. So we're running 4 of the new Gabumon, the SR. So at the beginning of your main phase, you can give one of your Digimon blocker until the end of your opponent's turn, and then if you have Yamato on the field, you can draw 1. Inherit skill is when this card attacks, you can draw 1. So just really solid draws. Next, we are going to be running 4 of the Gabumon X Antibody. One of the best cards in the game right now. Not as good as the Garurumon X Antibody, but this is still pretty good. A lot of the Garurumon engines will run this. So basically, on play or on evolution, you can look at the top 4 and then grab 2 cards that have Garurumon or X Antibody in its name to your hand, and then you ditch 1. And the inherit skill is whenever a Garurumon or a Omnimon would be deleted in battle, you can put 2 cards that are not Digitamas back into the bottom of your deck to prevent that destruction. So a little bit more protection. This is mainly used if you're hard casting this and you don't have the jamming protection. So pretty good. There are times where you are going to be hard casting this just to search your deck for more combo pieces. Next, we are running 4 of the Gabumon from EX1. Now, this card is optional. You don't have to run this if you don't want to. I'm just running this for a little bit more. So the inherit skill is when this card attacks, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can grab a Yamato and then put the rest at the bottom. So you can run any other blue Gabumon if you want. We're not running purple Gabumon because we're running Pokemon, and Pokemon can't Digivolve into a Gabumon. So you can run the BT-5 Gabumon that helps you search for Omnimon and Garurumon, but I quite like the ability to search for Tamers. And further for the Tamers, so we're running 3 of the EX1 Garurumon. The inherit skill is when this card attacks, you can play a 3 cost or less Yamato from your hand without paying its cost. So I think this card is super value city. Just being able to play a Yamato for free and you get another search. So the other card that you can run instead of this is the promo Garurumon that helps you draw 1 whenever you attack. Obviously, that one's pretty good as well, but I think being able to play a Tamer for free will be pretty useful sometimes. Of course, we also have the Garurumon from BT-15. This one lets you play a Yamato if you don't have a Yamato on the board already. If you do have a Yamato, you can just draw 1. So pretty solid card. We're running 3 of each, just because in this deck, getting your cards are really easy. It's really easy to draw. So in order to make space, we are cutting down some level 4s. So we're only running 10 level 4s. Running 4 more of the Garurumon X Antibody. This is the best card in the game right now, in my opinion. Being able to Digivolve and draw 2 this card too is just really good. And if you have X Antibody or Garurumon in source, then you can get 1 memory back. Very good. And the inherit skill is just the same as the Gabumon X Antibodies. So really good. By the way, this one, it reduces the cost by 3. It's not a free play. So if you're playing a 4 cost Yamato, you still have to play 1 cost. But we are not playing that in this deck, so don't need to worry about it. Next, for the level 5s, we're running 4 of the MetalGarurumon X Antibody. This is to help you search out, to fetch back pieces in your trash. You do have to ditch 2, but that's okay. And yeah, if you have a MetalGarurumon in Source or X Antibody, you can grab a Garurumon or X Antibody card back to your hand. So next, for the other level 5s, running 3 of the ST16 MetalGarurumon. This one lets you unsuspend and by discarding a card from your hand when this card attacks. And the inherent skill is you can pop a level 4 or less by discarding a card from your hand. And we're also running 1 of the promo MetalGarurumon because we're only allowed to run this at 1 now. If this goes back to 4, we're definitely running 4. Just because in this build, this MetalGarurumon is better. We do have a lot of cards in this in our hand, so hitting 8 is very easy. And it's just an unconditional unsuspend as long as you have Garurumon in Source. So really, really good card, and the extra security check is also really good, especially since you can attack with this twice and then unsuspend, go into your MetalGarurumon X Antibody, and then you can attack for 2 security checks with this one. So you can pretty much go for game with that. So I think limiting it to 1 is reasonable. And if your opponent's not dead, we still have some Garurumons to play. So next, we are going to be running 2 of the MetalGarurumon from BT-15. So this card is pretty good. It can warp it from a Garblemon if your opponent has a 10k Digimon on the board, 10k or above Digimon on the board, and you have Yamato on the field. And then it has evade as well as the evolution skill. Until the end of your opponent's turn, 3 of their opponent's Digimons or Tamers cannot rest. So that pretty much means they can't block and they can't attack on the turn, so it's a really good stun. I think it's even better than Ice Wall because even though they do lose memory when they attack, not being able to attack at all is just better. But of course, their Digimon in the Raising Era will be invulnerable to this effect, so it's up to you guys, but I think this is just really good. And then on both players' turn, whenever this Digimon rests, you can unsuspend it once per turn. So you can do 2 attacks with it, or you can use it as a blocker if you have the Gabumon. So yeah, really, really solid card. Next, we're also running 2 of the MetalGarurumon Ace from ST16. This is just used as a hand trap to cut your opponent's turn short. Be careful if you're playing against decks that can still blow you up after the end of the battle, because then you might potentially just it might go back to their turn. But I think for the most part, this is a pretty solid card. And even as an attacker, it's still pretty good. You can pop their lowest level Digimon by discarding a card. So I think MetalGarurumon is pretty solid. We're running 1 of the MetalGarurumon X Antibody from BT-9. This is used for an extra attack if you need it. But not always useful, but it's pretty nice to have. And you can also use this as a bit of a removal. You can run more than 1 if you want, but it's up to you guys. You can potentially run 1 less of this and 1 more of these, but I kind of like the ratio right now. Next, we are running 1 Omnimon and 1 Omnimon X Antibody. This is used for final attacks again, so you can blitz with this. If you have X Antibody in your source, you can Digivolve into your Omnimon X, then you can look at your opponent's trash and trash it. If there's only 1 left, then you pretty much win if you don't have a blocker, so really good. And this also lets you delete something, so yeah, it's pretty good. Even if they block it, you can potentially delete it. So it doesn't delete, it puts them to the bottom deck, which is even better. So pretty solid. Next, moving on to Tamers, we're running 4 Yamato. This is just here to help you fulfill some of your Gabumon's conditions. And whenever you add a card to your hand, you can rest this to get 1 memory. So it's super easy to fulfill in this deck, just because there's a lot of cards that help you draw. So getting these out for free is really nice, and then they'll just be profiting you memory later on. And that's why I'm not running Cool Boys in this deck, because Cool Boy, there's no way to cheat it out. And I like the free Yamatos more than I do like the bonuses from Cool Boy. Just because deck space is really tight in this build already, so it's up to you guys to decide if you want to run the new Yamatos or if you guys want to run Cool Boys. But I think Cool Boy is not as good in this deck. we have our 2-cost slot instead of Cool Boy running the mental training. So this lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck and add a blue card to your hand, and then the other one goes to the bottom. And on evolution, you can reduce the cost by 2. So pretty solid. We're also running 2 blue memory boosts in case you do want to look at top 4 instead of top 2. And having 2 extra memory to use is also pretty solid. So pretty good. They're all pretty good. Next, we're running 2 techs. So this is a card that not everybody will run, and for good reason. This card's not amazing, but it's really nice to have when you need it. So this is Wolf of Friendship, and if you have Matt on the field, you can play this card without ignoring calorie requirements. And the effect is, by placing 1 Garurumon and 1 Garurumon from your trash as the bottom of one of your Gabumons, that Gabumon can Digivolve into a MetalGarurumon, ignoring its Digivolution conditions. And then the security effect is, you can play 1 Gabumon from your hand or trash without paying its cost and add this card to your hand. So you're asking, you can already Digivolve into the MetalGarurumon for 4 with this effect. Why would I want to run this? And that's because we have lots of ways to ditch our Garurumons and Garurumons into the trash, which is something that the Greymon deck couldn't do, which is why this card is a lot more viable in this deck. So you can warp into the Gabumon, but you're not going to get any of the bonuses. You have this as your stack, whereas if you're using this, you can put these back, or whatever Garurumon you want, and then you'll be able to get the better stack to go with. Mainly, you would want to put this one in because it is a one-off. If this card is gone and you don't have a way to retrieve it with your Garurumon, at least you have this card to shove this in, so you can do 4 security checks with this, and if your opponent's not dead yet, you can go into Omnimon and go for game. So I think the Wolf of Friendship is pretty good for that use, and it's also a nice security bomb to have. Being able to play Gabumon for free is pretty nice. So yeah, we're running 2 of those. Of course, you will need to have 4 memory to do this, so ideally you would want to have some cards to help you get memory back, or you want to have at least a few memory to start off with. So ideally you want to start your turn with your Gabumon. You push this out. If you have some mats in the field, that will be a plus as well. So you draw off with the Gabumon because you have the Yamato, and then you can, depending on how many you have, you just tap these and you get memory back, and you'll be able to go into your Garurumon with a friendship. So it will require a little bit of memory, which is where the blue memory boost will also come in handy. But yeah, it's up to you guys. If you guys don't like the Wolf of Friendship, these are definitely flexible slots. You can kind of up the ratios for your level 4s back to normal if you want, or you can run more level 6s. But I think this deck draws enough that you can have a little bit of room for flexibility, for a little bit more creativity for your lineups. And yeah, I think, did we go over this? Yeah, we're also running 2 X Antibody. This is the last card we're running. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This deck is a lot of fun to play, and it is a deck that you can play that uses the Garurumon engine, but not fully go balls deep with the Garurumon engine. It's being abused by a lot of purple decks, and for good reason. It's really good, but I'm pretty sure that this is gonna get hit soon. So probably when it does get hit, we're gonna go over this deck again. But I think being on blue base, you can just remove these. It's probably gonna hit the 1, and then you can probably run these back to normal numbers, or you can run the Garurumon X Antibody, and that would work as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. But yeah, please feel free to use the links down below if you guys want to use, if you guys want to support the channel. This is Karu Haku, and I'll see you guys next time.